much for joining us this week. Now that the weather is finally getting warmer, I'm excited to give you guys a few more ideas for day trips or long weekends throughout Pennsylvania. Hi, my name is Missy Wilson. I'm a second generation winery owner at Cedar Ridge Vineyards in Kutztown, and I'm excited to take you throughout Pennsylvania to talk with the grape growers, the winemakers, and the proponents of the Pennsylvania wine industry. So this week we're actually traveling to the Northeast region of Pennsylvania. So this area of the state actually has a lot to offer. There is so much open space, which is perfect for summertime. You can enjoy the wineries in the Poconos, or you can travel up towards Scranton, or even end up where we're focusing this week, which is the Endless Mountains. So the Endless Mountains is part of the Appalachian Mountain Trail that encompasses Bradford, Sullivan, Susquehanna, and Wyoming counties, so it's in the north part of the state. So while enjoying all that the Endless Mountains has to offer, you should also include many of the wineries on your list, such as Hidden Creek, Mountain Lake, Nimble Hill, St. Joe, and Staggering Unicorn wineries. So we're excited this week to talk with Jeff Homer of Grovedale Winery, which is located in Wyalusing, as well as Morgan Christopher from the Endless Mountains Visitor Bureau. They're going to help us plan a fun trip to the region. And if you're interested in getting any additional information on any of the wineries in this area, or you want to plan a wine outing to another place throughout the state, the great tool for you to use is on the Pennsylvania Wineries Association's website, pennsylvaniawine.com. It's a great resource that has all the wineries located throughout the state of Pennsylvania, and you can even use the Build Your Own Itinerary tool. And if you're starting to look in that Endless Mountain region, you're going to make sure you want to visit endlessmountains.org for additional information on all they have to offer. So first, I'm excited to take you guys on a trip to the northeast part of Pennsylvania. It's such a beautiful and rural area. It's filled with state parks, ski resorts, and lots of small towns. It's also actually home to almost 40 vineyards and wineries. So I'm happy to introduce you today to Jeff Homer of Grovedale Winery and Vineyard located in Wyalusing. So thanks so much for joining us today, Jeff.
Thanks, Missy. Thanks for having me. We're glad to be here with you today.
Wonderful. So first of all, I'm guessing most people don't know where Wyalusing is located. So can you give us a general overview of where they can find you?
Sure. Yeah. So we're on the Susquehanna River, the north branch of the Susquehanna River. You mentioned Scranton. Scranton would sort of be one of the gateways sort of to get up to us. You basically just follow the river from Wilkes-Barre north. You can either do 309 or Route 6. Scenic Route 6 comes right through Wyalusing. It goes all the way down through Clark Summit into Scranton. We're about an hour northwest of Scranton. And we're about an hour south of New York State. And we're pretty much like in the middle of that big green area on everyone's map that is full of the state forests, as you mentioned.
Yep, which is a beautiful location. Might not be super easily accessible to, a lot of people. But it's a beautiful drive, and it's definitely worth the drive to get out to you. So a lot of times when people do think of the Northeast, they're thinking cold, snow, ski resorts, and things like that. So back in 2005, you guys decided to plant a vineyard, and you planted 8 acres of grapes. What made you decide to go that route?
So the genesis story, I was in college in San Francisco for a couple of years. One of my other trades is I'm actually a licensed funeral director, which is a family business. I'm the 6th generation on my father's side of the family to do that. When I moved home, I ended up living in the house where my grandmother raised my mother. And I'm the 7th generation on my mother's side of the family to live here. So in California, I worked in hospitality, going to college, as a waiter, started getting wine appreciation. Of course, all my buddies from the East Coast would come visit because I'm the only person they know on the left coast. And so we would do Napa, which we did the first time, and then Sonoma the next 9 times because we're in college and
a little bit more affordable.
Yeah, Sonoma was much more affordable. They didn't actually even have tasting fees then. I'm sure they do now. But back then, no tasting fees. So I ended up moving home, living on the farm, and just one thing led to another. I met one of the very first guys at one of our local Lions Club meetings that had planted a vineyard over outside of Dushore, where I grew up in Sullivan County. And he was growing Minnesota grape varietals, which was commercially like semi-new. Not that the breeding program was, but that they were starting to get distribution. And so that really got me interested. Like, that was the first time that really sort of made sense that we could grow grapes in our area, because as you mentioned, we are a little colder than the rest of the area. Even we have Lopez in Sullivan County, which is considered the icebox of Pennsylvania. The news station always comes there at least once a winter to see the -30s or whatever the coldest number in the state is. But the Minnesota varietals can handle what viticulturally was our limiting factor, which is our winter low temperature. So one thing led to another, and we ended up planting the vineyard in 2005 with all Minnesota grape varieties. We've currently got 6 different varietals, not all the same that we planted initially, but.
So, what varietals do you currently have in your vineyard, and what are the ones that you actually originally planted that maybe didn't work out so hot for you?
Yeah, so currently we've got Frontenac Gris, Petite Pearl, La Crescent, St. Pepin, and Louise Swenson are the 6 Minnesota varietals. And I like to tell people, we're essentially in the pioneering phase, right, of vineyards, really as a state, or even the East Coast sort of as a region. I mean, the Finger Lakes have a little bit of a jump figuring it out, but in the grand scheme of things, we're still certainly trying to figure out what our grape is going to be. So we tried a few like St. Croix that we put in and pulled out. It was just too thin-skinned, and like all of those lovely hurricanes that we're prone to get in the early September to mid-September region, right when you're trying to ripen the fruit, they really wreaked havoc because the grapes will just pop when they get too much rainfall, and they just weren't a good fit. We tried Lando Noir, I think, was one of the early ones, but we didn't really love the chemistry of it. We tried Vidal for a little while. We liked it, but economically just didn't seem to make sense. We're also trying to grow, things that really express sort of our microclimate here, and these varietals have been doing that for us.
So, people aren't quite as familiar with the Minnesota varietals that you're talking about. Are they whites, reds? Do they make a heavier wine, a lighter wine, or kind of a little in between?
I would say they sort of run the spectrum. One consistent sort of from the winemaking side is they have a little bit higher acid. So historically, they have not made, like, dry red was the one sort of niche that they didn't really hit. Most of the whites end up being in the semi-sweet range to semi-dry because of the acidity, which, like for a Riesling, gives a really good amount of backbone and structure to the wine when it's in balance, obviously. So the newest varietal that we've got, the Petite Pearl, is actually that's the one we're really, really excited about, because that is what I believe will be the first true dry red made that'll stand up next to the vinifera that everyone's used to tasting and represent really well. And we're currently doing a bourbon barrel aged Petite Pearl, as well as a French oak aged Petite Pearl that we're getting ready to bottle shortly. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's exciting. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of that fuller, heavier red than if you're putting it with that bourbon barrel.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That sounds delicious. So you do produce a variety of wines from dry to sweet and then the whites to the reds. What is your current favorite wine on the tasting list? And then what do you see that your customers are really leaning towards right now?
Um, so my current favorite happens to be the Malbec that we're getting ready to bottle, that we've got in French oak. That's 2 years in barrel,
Oh, wow.
second by the Petite Pearl. On our tasting sheet is probably the Serendipity, which is the Frontenac Gris. Uh, like a lot of folks, I usually sort of tend to go towards the whites and the rosés towards summertime when it starts warming up. Um, what was the second part of your question?
And then sometimes your wine, your favorite doesn't always match up with a customer favorite. So
Oh
what do
yes.
you see? What do you see the customers are
Uh,
really enjoying right now?
yeah. So from a customer standpoint, our the brand that we released in 2020 is called Shit Show. Its moniker is a fine wine for the times, and that is a Cabernet from Washington that we made, and that is by far the most popular for our customers. We also make a white Shit Show and a rosé. Um, the rosé is also, I think it's a Grenache grape from Washington, and the white is a Chenin Blanc from California. So they're really nice and just really popular. I mean, they've gotten quite a bit of press.
I think because everybody has gone through that time over the past couple of years, it just explains everything away.
Yes, and it's so like our niche for it is obviously gifting. It makes an awesome gift, right? Because there's everybody's got those moments,
Yes.
whether it's a bad boss or just something not going your way. Uh, it brings a smile to everyone's day when you get a bottle of that.
Yes. Yeah, you get the smile and the laugh when you get it, and then you get to relax when
And
you open it and enjoy it as well. So it's twofold there.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, if people want to come up and visit you, what are your current hours, and do they have to make reservations to do a tasting?
No reservations. Our current hours are Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 5. We're open, I think, till 7 on Fridays. Um, and once a month, we have live music as well on the patio. No reservations needed. You can just show up. We're doing tasting flights, so you can taste at the convenience of your table, and we have charcuterie boards and a lot of outdoor seating. We have a fire ring and lots of places to relax on the grounds.
Perfect. It sounds like a great way to spend your evening. So, if people want to visit any other wineries, do you have some suggestions for places that are close by to you, that they can group it into making maybe an outing to one or two or three additional wineries?
Yeah, absolutely. Nimble Hill is, if you're coming up from Scranton, for instance, on Route 6, you'll go right by Nimble Hill's tasting room in Tunkhannock. And then about halfway between Tunkhannock and Wyalusing, you could just jot off on, I think it's 367 to get to Hidden Creek. They're about 10 minutes off of Route 6 to find them. And then if you wanted to go a little further away from the rest of the world, Antler Ridge is up in Rome, Pennsylvania, just a little northwest of us. And you could certainly make a nice day out of hitting all of those.
Wonderful. So, if they want to get some more information about the wines that you currently have on your tasting list, as well as the dates for the events that you had mentioned before, what is the website that they should hit up for you?
GrovedaleWinery.com.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Jeff. And definitely go out. You want to make sure you go out and enjoy an afternoon at his winery. Maybe pick up a bottle or two of his now quite famous wine shit show that explains the way the past couple years have kind of been for everybody. And you can stop by get his full hours, all the events, and the wines that they have at his winery at their website at grovedalewinery.com. So thanks again for joining us today, Jeff.
Thanks, Missy.
All right, so we're spending this episode talking about the endless mountains in the Northeast. But if you're going to spend some time in the Poconos over the summer, there's also some great wineries to visit around there. Or you'd rather spend some time closer to the city instead of hanging with nature. There's also a bunch of wineries that surround Stroudsburg and Scranton too. So these are all located in the Northeast region of Pennsylvania. And the easiest way to plan the wineries into your vacation is to head to PennsylvaniaWines.com and use the Create Your Own Itinerary tool. You can find a winery close by to any place that you'll be visiting in Pennsylvania. So moving back into the Endless Mountains. So if you're looking to start planning that long weekend away this summer, or maybe you're a much better planner than I am and you're now looking into figuring out what you want to do this fall or winter getaway, I'm actually really excited to have with us on the program today Morgan Christopher of the Endless Mountains Visitor Bureau.
Hi there.
Hi Morgan. He's gonna round out that trip of ours to the region and tell us about amazing year-round options to include in your day, your weekend, or even your week-long trip. So thanks for taking some time out to join us today, Morgan.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. Missy, and I'm just going to dovetail on something Jeff just said, is if you're looking besides Grovedale for some other wineries to go to, we have a brochure for the Endless Mountains, for the wineries and the microbreweries that lists everything in the region. And using the map that's inside there, you can actually chart a course so that you can go winery to winery and stop by and see some of our beautiful local attractions.
Perfect. So now we were just talking about this a little bit earlier today, but we're actually starting to finally warm up. It was a really cool April and May, and people are now like ready and raring to get outdoors. So there is some amazing outdoor space in the Endless Mountains. So can you tell us what we should be putting on our itinerary and where we should plan on going throughout the summer months?
I will share some of that with you. The region is home to many state and local parks that offer miles of trails for outdoor recreation folks. The one thing that I love about the Endless Mountains is you don't have to be a skilled hiker, climber. If you're just a regular, like I want to take a stroll with the dog, we have plenty of places for that. We're home to Ricketts Glen State Park in Sullivan County, World's End State Park. Both of those parks and also the Loyalsock Forest have trails galore. They have camping areas. They have picnic areas. And no matter, what your skill level is, in those parks, you have a trail that you can get out on and experience it. Summer is ideal right now. For instance, at World End State Park, there's a beachfront there that has picnic areas nearby, and there's a food stand and a really cool swimming hole that a family could go out there and just enjoy some time in nature. To the north, one of the interesting areas we have is Salt Springs State Park, which is up in Susquehanna County, not far from Montrose. What I love about Salt Springs State Park is there is within the park, one of the trails that goes along the waterfalls is almost like walking a boardwalk. It's sort of decked. So if you are a person with mobility issues who wants to get through the area and spend some time in nature, it's the ideal park to go have that experience.
That's wonderful. Yeah, there is an immense outdoor space and plenty to do in state parks up that area.
And
Well,
I jump in real quickly and just add on one thing. So if you are an experienced hiker or a mountain biker and you want to have that outdoor experience, we're also home to the D&H Rail Trail that runs from Susquehanna County, right up to the state line in New York, offering some of the most scenic areas in Pennsylvania to explore. Jump on your mountain bike and go have that experience. And one other outdoor option, while I'm throwing all the outdoor stuff in there, is along the Susquehanna River. We have a company called Susquehanna Kayak and Canoe. They do guided trips. And one of the trips that they do is you go out and kayak on the river and you go do a wine tasting as part of your kayak adventure.
That sounds like a perfect one for me to do. Put the hard work in and then enjoy afterwards, right?
Yeah, check out their website, kayaktheriver.com, and they have not only the wine sojourn on there, they also have some other guided kayak tours on there that people might be interested in.
That's wonderful. So say you're a immense planner and you've already planned your summer out, but now you're starting to look into the fall, and we're looking for that fall getaway. And with the way that gas prices are anymore, you don't want to take that trip all the way up into Vermont or New Hampshire. What is there fun to be doing in the Endless Mountains region that we can just head over there instead?
The fall foliage in northeastern Pennsylvania is breathtaking. Just right off the bat. And I live in an area of Pennsylvania, I won't say which one, that is famous for fall foliage. The Endless Mountains has a beat. I will just tell you that. The one nice thing about the area is if you're coming up for a weekend, this is when the county fairs are going on. There's a lot of festivals happening at this time, combining wine tasting with some of the fall festivals that are happening. There's also a lot of our orchards have pumpkins, as we see on the screen, pumpkin, corn mazes, all that kind of stuff that you can do in between visiting the different wineries. What's interesting about the wineries, where they're located all throughout the 4 counties of the Endless Mountains, is they're all along different byways. And when we recommend fall foliage drives, it's those byways that we send people along, Route 11, Route 87, that will connect you from places like Eagles Mere through Sullivan County, all the way up to Wyoming County, that you're going the back way. And you're traveling along creeks and you're driving literally right through the lush foliage of the region.
That's amazing.
One other thing that happens in the fall is Elk Mountain's Fall Festival happens every year over Columbus Day. But at the same time, in Susquehanna County, where Elk Mountain is, a group of artists that live permanently in the area do an artists open house weekend. So you come up for the weekend and you go visit all the artists in their studios. And if you've ever had that artistic calling that you want to learn how to watercolor or work with pastels, you can do mini classes as part of that. They have a whole schedule they do, but you go studio to studio to studio, and these are all like restored barns. One of them is in a restored granary. You go property to property and you're driving through some of the most beautiful foliage in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, so you're talking about Elk Mountain. So obviously, winter is very popular as well in this region with skiing and whatnot. But in addition, there's lots of small towns happen too. And some of the charm of the Endless Mountain region is those small towns. So if we want to hit it up later in December or around Christmas time, what other fun options are there?
This is the 3rd year we're going to be running our campaign called An Endless Mountains Christmas. If your followers want to go on YouTube and look up An Endless Mountains Christmas, one of our local hotel general managers also does double duty as a songwriter and a singer, Gary Carl. And Gary has written a holiday tribute called An Endless Mountains Christmas. So our campaign that we do every year goes from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And what we encourage people to do is to come up to the Endless Mountains and go to some of these small town celebrations. Like Tunkhannock has Christmas in our hometown. Dewshore has a Christmas celebration. There are Christmas celebrations in a lot of the small towns throughout the area. 2 of our golf courses, I'm blanking right now, but of the names, oh my God. But they do outdoor drive-through light shows that are, one is Stonehenge and the other is the Tall Players Club. They do outdoor drive-through light shows, so you can have that experience. I strongly recommend anyone who's looking for something different for the holidays to come up to our area during the Endless Mountains Christmas time. Go to these small town festivals, but also go out to our wineries and do a tasting. There is no better gift than the gift of locally produced wine at the holiday season. And our wineries are just waiting to welcome you. You mentioned Elk Mountain. What better way to warm up after a day on the slope than to have picked up a bottle of wine on your trip up by stopping at one of our wineries and looking forward to that after you've been out playing in the snow all day.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for giving us some really great ideas. And it's great to know, like, it's really beautiful in the summertime right now, and you have all the state parks, but really you have tourism activities that really balance from this time of year through the fall and winter and back into the spring again. So there's amazing ideas, amazing opportunities in this Endless Mountain regions.
And
So
Missy, if I could just jump in, two things I would say is go to our website, www.endlessmountains.org, which has all of our information on there, or call our office and we'll send you a copy of our visitor's guide, the winery guide, or we also have this, I don't know if you can see it, our outdoor recreation guide that has all the parks and everything listed. And that number is 1-800-769-8999.
Perfect. And that's great because your website has some really great information on it with restaurants, bed and breakfast, hotels, places to stay. So it really encompasses everything. So I definitely recommend that you head over to their website and then take a look at everything and start planning your trip. And at the Visitors Bureau, they can definitely help you along with that. So thank you so much for giving us all this information, Morgan. And we definitely have a vacation to plan now.
Give us a call. Take care.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay. So thank you so much for joining us today as we talked about the Endless Mountain region in the northeast spot of Pennsylvania. Get your morning hike in and stop at Grovedale Winery and Vineyards for an afternoon tasting. Enjoy a long weekend and stay at that beautiful B&B. Head up a few more wineries and check out the amazing attractions that Morgan had given us. You can enjoy it throughout the summertime with all the beautiful state parks. Enjoy fall and the beautiful foliage, or, wait till winter and enjoy that small town Christmas. Whether it's the summer, fall, winter, there are so many wineries that you can include in your plans when you make your vacation. So, in addition to the Endless Mountain Visitors Bureau at endlessmountains.org, I definitely recommend you visit the Pennsylvania Winery Association's website as well at pennsylvaniawine.com. There are links to each winery's website where you can check out hours, see what they have available in the tasting room. Well, next time, we're going to actually be talking about our summertime favorites, which is rosé. National Rosé Day is celebrated every July 11th, and I'll have a few suggestions of wineries to visit that are making rosés, from dry to sweet to sparkling. Our show streams live the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month, starting at noon on Facebook and YouTube. But if you can't join us live, you can always watch any of the programs whenever works best for you. Plus, if you'd rather just listen to the show, join us at Uncork PA on Apple, Spotify, or wherever your favorite place is to stream your podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the station so you know when new episodes are posted. And we want to definitely thank the Pennsylvania Winery Association for supporting this program with grant money from the PLCB. And we look forward to sharing more hidden gems of the Pennsylvania wine world with you next time. Have a great day.